Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today, the last couple of days we've been talking about the ins and outs of relationships in the larger way, the complaints that people have about them and the solutions we can have for those problems. In which case, I've talked about the sex side of things. Yesterday we talked about the more general kind of, some of which were just more emotional, logistical kind of questions. But today I wanted to talk about some things that some behaviors that you need to try and avoid for a positive relationship. And this kind of follows in part from the stages of intimacy, 6 stages of intimacy video that I did a couple of weeks ago. I think it'll be nearly 3 weeks now, actually, by the time this video goes up. But as a result, I wanted to come and talk about these behaviors because they do kind of fall in with every single other video that I've done this week, that I did last week, that I did the week before, to one degree or another. And there are only 5 of them, so this shouldn't be as long as the video on Tuesday. Monday. Sorry, Monday's video that was very long. So let's get into it. Now, the first one, and a lot of these are kind of applicable to lots of different places in a relationship, but this one is very specific towards the beginning of a relationship. And that is we have the chase. Yeah, we have the whole dating scene and the chase and the rush of it all and the meeting new people and the doing things to kind of win that person round and show that person who we are because we're attractive and lovely and wonderful and all kinds of things. But then there are so many people who kind of go charging at that, going, yeah, I want the chase. And then they finish the chase and they've won. They've got what they want. I'm sure they're very happy with that. But the problem is that then, this is where the slowdown happens. Yeah, you drop into the honeymoon period because that's the payoff. But then after the honeymoon period, it becomes a lot starker. Yeah, the rose-tinted spectacles are taken away, and it's so easy for so many people just to fall into kind of cruise control, where it's like, oh, well, now I'm in a relationship, and so now this is just the thing that I'm in. It's the thing that I do. It's the way that things work now. And, be you a guy or a girl, be you male or female, it doesn't matter. You are potentially very capable of just falling into this kind of continual slow roll. And it's a case of going, right, well, now that I'm here, she's directing things, or she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing, or he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing, whatever. This is it, right? No, if you're not feeling completely happy with it, then ask questions. Ask about feelings. Ask about how secure he feels the relationship is, and share your feelings about how you feel it is, and actually go and be like, okay, well, let's make a plan. Let's put a bit of effort in and do something great for our next time out, or for the next thing that we do together, or for the next week, let's just plan out some time for us to spend together. Stuff like that. Making sure that there's that solid time to bond over, to work together, to enjoy together, to fashion a relationship from. Because without doing that, then potentially that's how things get run down, things get kind of burned out, and things start to fall to pieces. So don't let the end of the chase be the end of the relationship as well. Keep the rest of it rolling by asking some questions of he or she, and kind of making it all work. Now the next one, and this is one that it really kind of bugs me to an extent, and at times it's forgivable to a degree. When it's not just a thing that happens, it's like a consequence of other stuff in life. But tuning out, your partner starts talking to you or talking with you, and because it's something that you're just not really on board with, or that has been gone over a huge number of times or something like that, then you just tune it out. This happens for, guys and girls. A girl just nodding along going, sure, and a guy just sat there kind of looking at his phone going, yeah, no, sounds, yeah, of course, sounds good. It turns into the old gag of that you see in so many sitcoms and things, where you've just got the partner talking and then asks something like, oh, well, should I cut your hand off? And their partner, who's tuned them out, just goes, sure. Now, if you're in the middle of cooking something and you're trying to talk and then you're tuning them out because something's just caught fire, or because you've not necessarily tuned out what they said in the moment, but you've kind of forgotten because life got crazy the next week, and as a result, when it came to the time for something to happen or something to be said, something to be done, it's just not in your head anymore. That's kind of more forgivable. You could easily try and work around it by, if say the cooking example, give me 5 minutes because I just need to make sure this doesn't catch fire. So you don't have to tune them out. It's just a break in the conversation to allow for activity, and then you can come back to it. If it's the forgetting something over a week, I would like to think that as long as it wasn't crazily important, then there'd be a bit more forgiveness and kind of a more reasonable attitude towards it from a partner. Just because it's people forget things, people get distracted, people have a tough time, and no one is perfect when it comes to just how crazy life can be. So there's that. But the way to really stop tuning out, in my opinion, is actually take an interest in what's being said. Or if there's something that just isn't interesting to you, find a way to make it interesting. There are numerous TV shows that I do not watch because I do not care about them. And yet, Hannah loves them, and Hannah wants to talk about them. And so at times she'll come to me and talk about them. That's absolutely fine, because I can still enjoy that conversation by taking the piss. And she will more than happily let me do it, because it still means that she's got someone to talk to about it, and it means that I can enthuse about it as much as she does, just for a completely different reason. And so as a result, I'm not tuning out what she's saying. Sometimes I might forget the odd thing or whatever else, but again, one of the things that you can do to solve the forgetting thing is going back, summarising what they've said to them, making sure that you've got it straight, making sure that you understand. Just be like, okay, so hold on. Just so I've got this straight, here's everything that you've just told me. Is that right? And then if they go, yeah, you've got it, you're fine, and then they can keep going, and you're sure. But then, because you've taken the moment just to go back over it, make sure that it's all in your head in the proper way. Again, not always easy to do if you're exchanging information very quickly, but it's something that just allows you to retain that information a little better if you can. Next one, point 3, is there's nowadays, especially with how busy and how aggressive parts of kind of the career side of life is, it can be really difficult for people who are very ambitious and very professionally and career kind of motivated to keep that balance. And so as a result, it's that your partner is focusing all on job and then being very passive when it comes to relationship. And there are a couple of different ways that this can go down. I've seen ways where it's been brought up and then the relationship has collapsed, and there's been a whole load of hypocrisy and misery going on as a result. But then in a lot of other instances, have that discussion about how you feel, how there isn't a balance, how the balance needs to be achieved. And sometimes it will be, but if I'm working now so that we can achieve the balance later. But try and help them realise that the balance later won't help if you're not able to stick around that long. It's trying to understand that even if you don't need all of a complete balance right now, you need more than what there is. Because if you're not if that person is never around and they're always in the office and all that kind of thing, that's not really a relationship. It's where you happen to be might be a place that they just end up coming to sleep, or you're a person that they just call every evening or something like that. It's not a true interaction as partners. It's not really a even part of a balance towards a full balance that would then be completely healthy and completely happy. Because also, a perfect balance is crazy hard to get between work and life. And as a result, even harder to get between work and relationships, considering relationships are, relatively speaking, a small part of life, even if that's a life partner that you live through your entire existence with. There's still so much other stuff that life entails. It might be a third, but that still means that there are 2/3 of life that aren't purely partner related, aren't purely relationship related. So it's trying to strike that balance between just work and relationship is crazy difficult compared to just work and life as a more general thing. But this is where, me as a coach, I'm setting out work-life balance, setting out the balance that people want within their life as well, so to make it a good counterbalance for their work. All of those things are things that I deal with almost every client to one degree or another. But when it comes to just the interactions between people, where career is maybe getting in the way, simply put, try and make them understand how you feel. Try and make them understand how the situation is progressing, because the lonelier you feel whilst you're still with them, the harder it will be for you to put the time, put the energy in to maintain what you have without it slipping away. It just becomes difficult. The next one is one that often comes out at the beginning of a relationship, but can come out later. Midlife crisis kind of period. This kind of pops up as well, and that's kind of unintentional selfishness. Where if you've been used to being single for a long old time, or you've suddenly got this new lease on life and you want to do these new things and do these different things, and as a result you end up making plans for someone else without consulting them, or making decisions on their behalf for the both of you without even so much as a peep about the fact that there's a decision there to be made. It becomes horrible. Like the number of people who, if you ask them, if someone else ordered food for you at a restaurant, without your discussion, without your say-so, anything like that, how would you feel? Most people probably feel pretty pissed. Me, as a very fussy eater, would be very pissed. And so it's a case of going, you wouldn't go and just straight up order someone else's food for them in a restaurant. You would, at the very least, if you were like, I'll order for both of us, but what would you like? That's the kind of question that you need to have in other things as well. Unintentional selfishness might not necessarily be something that ends a relationship, but it causes unnecessary friction when the way to get past it is literally by going, there is this decision to be made. Do you care about the outcome? And would the outcome be preferable with this thing that I'm thinking of doing? Yeah? The more large decision or life situation version of, I'll order for you if you like, but what would you like? Yeah? It's not hard. It's not hard to talk about those things. It's not hard to take a moment, less than a matter of seconds out of your day, and ask your partner that thing. The one person who you should be able to talk to, it should not be difficult to turn around and ask them that question. And now the last one is kind of, it's difficult because it's being disengaged. You might feel like you're putting in a lot of effort in. Everyone might feel like they're putting in a lot of effort in. Or your friends might think you're a great couple, and they see you working towards a better thing for each, together all the time. But it's hard potentially to pin yourselves down to a set path. And this is, again, something that I deal with in coaching all the time, where it's, you've got all these great ideas. Oh, you want to go on this holiday. Oh, you want to go and sort these things out. Oh, you want to go and do these things together. Oh, you want to go and have this number of children, whilst also doing all of these other things and going and ruling the country and all that kind of stuff. You'll have all these different plans, all these different ideas, but you won't order them. You know, it'll be, you'll have 5 different ideas for going on holiday at once, and the two of you, even though you're both working really hard towards having the time, having the money, having whatever else to get you where you want to go, not just in career, but just in terms of which places you want to go, all these places you want to travel to, for instance, in the holiday example. And yet then, because you're not slowing down, you're not sharing what you're thinking and feeling with each other, you're not sharing your priorities with each other, one of you might be fully prepared for a skiing holiday in the Alps, and the other person might be fully prepared for a beach holiday in the Bahamas. You know, and as a result, you've both worked crazily hard, but you can't actually do both of those things, and you also can't do the one thing you want to do without the other person anyway. But, you know, you've not taken the time to slow down, to talk things out, and all the rest of it. The things that I have seen work best for this are, firstly, just like planning through the same kind of planning that I've done on the channel with you guys, using the grow method. You know, make a goal, come up with you know, test it against reality, come up with realistic actions and things like that. Look for the opportunities that can help you with those actions, and then just go and do it. Find the way forward. Limit yourself on time and whatever else realistically, so that you can go and then achieve. But also, one of the other things is that sometimes you're just not going to be taking the time to relax with each other and have the conversations that you need around this stuff. So slow down. Take those times. Go and go out on a date night or something and relax. But in doing so, maybe also try going somewhere new. You know, rather than being entirely kind of repetitive in what you're doing, and as a result, you know, when you do try to slow things down to talk about new stuff, you know, you end up in that old place. Doesn't mean you have to forego your favourite restaurants or whatever for the rest of forever, but maybe just try somewhere new whilst you're talking about new things. Just so it gives you that freshness of the conversation, so it makes it maybe a little bit more a little bit more memorable, so that you can, you know, get through that stuff that you want to talk about, and so it sticks in your mind a little better, so that your priorities are both attached to that new memory of that nice place or that terrible place or whatever that you've gone for that specific occasion that was also completely fresh. You know, it just helps set up that chain of memory, so that the two of you won't get your wires crossed and you won't get tangled up in each other in a bad way, whilst trying to both achieve your goals in, you know, the overarching title, but not dealing with your goals on the specific lists and checking that your lists match and stuff like that, you know. And then that way maybe you'll go and have a winter holiday in the Alps and a summer holiday in the Bahamas. I don't know. It'll work out somehow. But the best way to have it work out without hardship and strife, proper planning, slow it down, and maybe try and bond those new memories that you're coming up with as part of your new plan to something else new that you're doing, just so it sticks in your head. But anyway, guys, I hope that's interesting and useful. As said, if there are any other more kind of general behaviours that maybe you feel that at the very least in your relationship you've done better off from staying away from, you know, there, rather than just kind of keeping communication flowing and keeping yourself paced and all that kind of thing, if you've got them, drop them down in the comments or drop by the live stream on Friday and let me know, and we can have a chat about them. It'll be all fun and people can learn. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the video later. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, found it interesting, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video later. Take care.